Hey DT,
Hey JT,
what time is it?
it's time for another track meet.
And it's just not any other track meet, is it?
Nope, it is the 1-6A district meet.
Yeah, this is the meet that qualifies them to the area meet, which is the one that qualifies them for the regional meet. And at the regional meet, you qualify for state. So this is the process of getting to the state meet. Very important meet.
Yes, it is.
And so with that, let's begin.
This year's District 6A Championship will be hosted by Franklin High School at the beautiful Cougar Field. It's been a few years since we've timed a 6A meet. Usually we do the 4A and 5A meets.
That's right. It's we've done the 6A area meet for them. Usually we're doing the 4A, 5A district meets. Because of the composition of the 6A, there's actually 3 school districts, EPISD, Socorro, and Isleta, I believe, are the 3 districts represented in there. And so they switch around, and one will go one year, then the next year. So about every 3 years is back into EPISD.
Doesn't matter to me, it's just another...
It's another track meet. So,
well, running prelims will start on Wednesday and Thursday at 4:30, as well as all the field events.
yes, they're going to start on Wednesday and Thursday. All the field events are going to be those days, and they start at 3:30 p.m. each day.
You know, JT, we talk a lot about the running events these past few videos, but haven't really spent a lot of time on the field events. So, I'd like to focus a little bit more on the field events today, if you don't mind.
No, it'd be great. On Wednesday, the boys high jump, pole vault, discus, and long jump. The girls shot put and triple jump.
And then Thursday, the girls high jump, pole vault, discus, long jump, and boys shot put and triple jump.
Yeah, there's 6 field events for each division. We have 3 divisions that'll be running. We'll have freshman, open, and then we have the varsity. And so,
but they're not always in that order, so you'll have to check the schedule because sometimes they do freshman open varsity, sometimes they do varsity open freshman or open varsity. So you got to check the schedule to see who's
and
starting
that's
where.
because there are events that are going on at the same time, like the pole vault and the high jump. A lot of pole vaulters, not a lot, but many pole vaulters are also high jumpers, and we want to give them a fair chance during the event.
That makes sense.
So let's start with the high jump. It is a difficult event. Well, that depends on if you get a handle on the high jump. You need to understand the kind of J run. I don't use it. The Fosbury flop and the physics that govern the event determine how high you're going to jump. It's just not just simply running and jumping as high as you can. There's a lot of technique and athleticism to get that to happen.
Yeah, wow. So the J run is the approach jumper's run in a J-shaped curve. The straight part builds speed while the curve creates that centrifugal force, which helps lean the body away from the bar and convert horizontal speed into the vertical lift.
To take off, it must be from 1 foot. Using 2 feet is an automatic foul. The most common technique nowadays is the Fosbury flop, where basically they lead with their shoulder, their head, and their back over the bar, their chest facing up. This keeps the body center of mass actually below the bar, and physicists tell us that they can actually jump higher than they possibly can because of that ability to arch over the bar.
Wow.
Some of the best field events have been here in El Paso. We've had high jumpers that have jumped as high as 7 feet. So that's the high jump. So there are some rules.
There is the 3 miss rule. You get 3 tries at each height. If you miss all 3 in a row, you're out. You can also pass a height to save energy. The winner is the one who clears the max height and with the fewest misses at the specific height.
When there are ties, you have to look at the misses throughout the competition. We actually are starting to try to implement the use of tablets, iPads, which allow them to put in the score, if it's a pass, if it's a foul, if they make the height. And it actually does a lot of the work for the coaches because you know,
Yeah, this is the one that seems like when officiating, and when I get the results, it sometimes has mistakes. So
yeah, no, and so
the iPad helps tremendously.
and you know, it's a kind of a daunting task to do that.
Yes.
So girls this year,
The high school or the high jump standout is a freshman, Ayana Garcia from Pebble Hills, with a seated height of 5 feet 5 inches. It's also interesting to note that 3 of the top seeded high jumpers are all freshmen.
yeah, good job, ladies. You know, track isn't like a lot of the sports where you have to get older and tougher and stronger to be able to be on the varsity team. If you have the ability,
You're varsity,
you're
yeah.
varsity. You know, top 3 are the top 3. We've had freshmen make it to state and do it very consistently. And so, you know, good job, ladies, for you know, the freshmen representing out there.
Absolutely. So, and in the boys' high jump, a junior from Eastlake, Ray Torres, is the #1 seed in a small field of high jumpers.
Yeah, sometimes we have you know, there can be actually for this meet an actual number of 21 athletes registered in that division. And this one, I think there's maybe 8 or 9.
Yes,
Not very
hey,
many.
it happens every
Yeah.
year. It's a little different.
Yeah,
so.
and we kind of go through cycles where 1 year the high jump is where everyone wants to be, and then the next year it's maybe the long jump or the triple jump, and so
Every year
it's-
is different.
It's still going to be a great competition, regardless of how big the field is going to be.
So next is the pole vault. In the girls' pole vault, a senior from Coronado, Alexis Aguayo, will be the one to watch with a seed mark of 11.6. This mark is 2 feet ahead of the rest of the field.
And that's a bunch in the pole vault. You know, if you look at the world record holder right now, Duplantis, he breaks his records 1 centimeter at a time. You know, just a tiny little bit. And so, you know, 2 feet. That's a huge margin. She is an excellent pole vaulter. For the boys, Rafael De Leon, a senior from Eastlake, with a seated height of 12 feet. There is a tight group among the next 4 athletes, all seated at the same height. Now, I think they're 11 feet or 11.6. I'm not sure what their seat is. But those 4 athletes, regardless of you know, their performance that day, only 4 are going to get to advance to the next round to the area meet. And so good luck to those pole vaulters.
Absolutely.
Now, we love the pole vault.
Oh yeah, we had a pole vaulter in our family, so it's kind of a special event for us.
Yeah, our daughter was a pole vaulter. You would never have expected her to be a pole vaulter. She is 5'1" and ferocious. And you know, pole vault is very and a very athletic event. It's a complex track and field event that requires a combination of sprinting speed, gymnastic strength, and precision. Without going into a lot of detail, it's basically broken down into 4 distinct phases. The first phase
Is the approach, then the plant and takeoff, the swing and inversion, and the clearance and landing. Like in the high jump, there is the 3 miss rule. So, JRT, there's one more aspect I think that's missing.
what's that?
It's you got to have guts to be able
Guts
to.
are a little bit crazy. You know, these athletes are flying up in the air. You know, we just saw it, 11, 12 feet up in the air, and then they come not crashing down, but they come landing down onto the landing pit. And the technology we have nowadays is so much better than what it was when
that's true.
when we started.
Oh yeah.
You know, here's a little trivia fact. The only medal I ever received in high school was for the pole vault relay. I was kind of like the 4th guy, and they were like, yeah, you can come jump with us. And I made a height. I can't remember how high it was. But they added the teams together, scores together, and that was my medal.
Well, and what about the trivia with our daughter? What was one of my first coaching experiences?
Yeah,
I was the pole vault coach, La
Yeah.
Hera, Colorado. So I was actually pregnant with our daughter at the time that I was coaching. So she was destined to be a pole vaulter.
Yeah, all the coaches were like, she's going to go to our school, isn't she? Because DT's a little bit taller than 5'1". But apparently, short genes are the dominant genes.
Moving right along,
Yeah, so-
anyways.
No, they deserve all the accolades that they get, and we want the pole vault to have a very safe and productive
Absolutely.
event.
So, next is the girls' long jump. The most outstanding seed mark is Chloe Rains from Franklin with a distance of 19 feet, 6 3/4 inches.
And for the boys, Christian Fries, a sophomore from Coronado, with a very good seed jump of 22 feet, 1 1/4 inch. Whenever you get over that 21, 22 foot, that's a very good jump.
So, what is there to know about the long jump, JT?
Well, it's a combination of pure speed, explosive power, a little bit of gymnastics ability, and being able to contort your body into all kinds of conditions. Basically, the goal is to reach maximum controllable speed at the moment of takeoff. Now, there's a board. Oops, let me get a board. About 6 inches wide that they run at, and they want to get their foot as close to the front edge of the board. Oops, keep on going the wrong way.
Without that toe going
Without
over.
that toe going over, and if it goes over, that's a foul. If they're behind it, they still get to jump. But if you
But they lose that,
if
that
you
distance.
jump way back behind the board, that's gonna they don't subtract that, or add it to your thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's what it is. They measure to the board and to your closest mark.
Well, and that closest mark, you hope, is probably what, your feet?
It could be your feet. It could be your behind. There's several styles of landing. One is kind of feet first. Another one is they call it the slide, where it's horrifying to me. It looks like they're just crashing into the ground, but supposedly that helps them. So there's all kinds of techniques for it. Jumpers use different styles to stay balanced in the air. One is called the hitch kick, where you see them kind of going through their arms and their legs are going. The other one is the hang. And for a jumper that's jumping 18 feet, the hang is a perfectly great technique for them. It's a little less complicated for the younger jumpers to learn, and they get the same distance. You have to be in the air long enough for that hitch kick to actually be an advantage. So when they land, it's going to be where their heels hit, where their behind hits, if they reach back with their hand.
It could even be your hair.
Yeah. And
so it depends on whatever hits.
And so for the varsity, they're going to get, for the high jump, they had the 3 jump rule, which is 3 misses in a row. On this one, the varsity is going to get 3 jumps, and then the top 8 jumpers are going to move on to the finals. And they will get another 3 jumps, and with that, we'll determine who the best long jumper is in town.
There you go.
Next event.
The triple jump, or hop, skip, and jump.
So,
I
you guys
think-
know what a
yeah.
hop is?
A hop.
A hop, technical terms,
But
is you take off with one foot and land on the same foot. You said skip. It's actually a step.
Oh, okay.
And a step is you take off on one foot and land on the opposite foot. And the jump is you take off on one foot and just do the best you can.
Regardless, I
Yeah.
still think it's one of the most beautiful events to watch.
Yeah, no, we've had the pleasure of getting to coach some great triple jumpers who I'm very, very proud of because they've continued to, in their athletic career, not just through jumping, but through coaching and being mentors to the kids. And so you guys know who you are. Good luck this week at District.
It's also most technically demanding event. So in track and field.
Yeah, no, it requires a blend of spring, speed, extreme lower body strength, and rhythm. You know that a good triple jump has happened when you hear,
And we know that counts me out, huh?
Yeah, no, we're not triple jumpers.
Yeah.
But if you hear, that means that their second phase or the step or the skip was short, and so you want that even rhythm. And so it's a very a good event, and it follows the same rules as the long jump, where they're going to get 3 prelims and 3 finals.
So it appears Eastlake will dominate this event with the best seeded marks for both the boys or the girls and boys.
Yeah, Della Castro with a 35.8 and 3/4, and Miguel Alcantor with 43.1. Eastlake boys.
Yeah, the Eastlake boys, the top 3 seeds are all Eastlake.
Yeah, and so and everybody's like, oh, the Eastlake's just going to win. You never know. Some of those guys are, if you're old like us, are the Jerry Wests of track and field. They only need one good day to get out
There you
there.
go. And you never know.
And so
someone out there could just
or you have a
surprise
bad
everybody.
day. We've seen kids like in the pole vault. When I was in high school, we had a pole vaulter that was very, very good. He was 3 feet above everybody else in the state. And so everybody else had finished their pole vault, and it was time for him to run. And so, or him to compete. And so he gets up there, and he scratches the first one. Then he scratches the next one, and he scratches the third one. And so here's a guy that loses at state with a no height because he just had a bad day. It didn't keep him from being a great pole vaulter. He ended up going to Kansas. But those things happen, and and coaches know those things happen, so they're not going to judge them on just one day. But we'd like to see those guys go on to bigger competitions.
So that concludes the jumps.
That's
Now,
right.
let's hear about the throws.
So the throws, starting with the girls' shot put, there is a junior from Eastlake. She is expected to dominate the field. Her seed mark is 37.5 inches, a clear 4 feet better than the rest of the field. There's a senior.
A senior from Eastwood, Mario Velasco, who has a seed mark of 55 and 2 inches, a clear 5 feet ahead of the rest of the competition.
And those are very, very, very good marks. So, we want those guys to get out there and do the best they can. They follow the same pattern as the long jump and triple jump. They're going to get 3 preliminary throws. The best 8 competitors are going to go on to finals and get another 3. So what about that shot put?
Did you know that the shot put is unique because it's technically a put rather than a throw?
I guess that's why they call it a shot put. But what's the difference? Do you know the difference between a put and a throw?
Well, kind of, sort of. You're pushing it.
Okay, a throw, kind of hard to do,
Yeah.
is if you
Throw.
lead with your elbow and you throw.
Yeah.
In a put, the elbow is going to stay up high and they're going to push it out. And that's one of the rules that they actually look for when they do that, is if the elbow comes down, it's for safety reasons. And we want to make sure that they're being taken care of.
Yeah. So unlike other throw events that use a whipping motion, and the shot put motion is from the shoulder and moves it, that spherical ball, that shot.
Yeah,
as far as
I always kind
possible.
of think of them as about the size of a cannonball. The weight for a competition for boys, I think, is 12 pounds. In collegiate, they throw 16, I know that. And for girls, they throw an 8-pound one. Now, it could be 4 kilos. A kilogram is 2.2 pounds, so that would be 8.8 pounds. So I'm not sure. If you do know the answer, write it down in the comments below and let us know. We don't spend a lot of time around the shop, but sorry.
Yeah.
We're usually tiny, and we apologize for that.
But that's why I think it's important is to learn more about each of the field events and talk about it.
And
So-
we're talking about the big guys, big guys, big girls. Don't always that's not always the same. What's out
Remember
there.
in high school when we first started coaching, we
Yeah,
had beef.
Yeah, we had the. She didn't weigh much more than the shot put, I don't think. Very very tiny petite athlete, and she got out there and she was competitive.
Oh.
And There,
But
there's
she's
a girl.
strong.
There's
I
a
mean,
girl here
yeah.
in El Paso, from Parkland. She's a beauty queen. She's a discus thrower. She's an athlete, and so some of the fastest people I've actually ever seen were shot putters and discus throwers. There's two techniques. The first technique is called the glide, and it's kind of they kick their leg back and they go backwards and then turn and pivot and throw the shot, or not throw it, put the shot put.
See, you actually know more about it than I do. So,
And so the next one is the spin, and that's closer to what you would see with a discus thrower, where they twirl themselves around and do that. They're trying to get that momentum in that, and so the fastest shot putter that I know of is Michael Carter. He's state record holder for Texas in the shot put. Just phenomenal. Back in the old days, before they had video and that, they used the cameras, and he in the film they have the frames of the film as it goes along, and so they have him in the back of the ring, and then they have him in the front of the ring, and nothing in between. He was so quick, the film couldn't even pick it up.
regardless, both require, I think, lots of training.
Yeah, no, they're very dedicated athletes, and it's great to watch those kids get out there and compete.
And the final field event for this district meet is the discus.
The discus.
Yes, my nemesis for scoring.
Why do you say nemesis?
Well, give me a minute. Let's talk about the athletes first. That's much more important.
Yeah, no, we're in the girls' discus competition. We have Vanessa Nieves, a senior from Eastlake, with a throw of 132.6. That is 20 feet ahead of the next person seated. She's currently rated among the top performers in the region. For the boys,
Mario Velasco, a senior from Eastwood, with a seed throw of 166 feet, which will be another one to watch, as he's been consistently ranked in the top 10 performers this season. Kind of watched him over the last couple of years.
So tell me, why is this a nemesis?
Well, it's not that bad, just a slight irritation. Perhaps a really brief history lesson will help people remember this. Back in 1980, track events were converted to metric distance. However, those field events, often referred to as the long throws, such as the javelin, the hammer, and the discus, were codified to be measured to the nearest whole inch, rounding down. This is distinguished from the short throws, which is the shot put, which are measured to the nearest quarter inch. In 2013, the National Federation of High School and UIL added the allowance for measurements to be recorded in centimeters to the nearest lesser whole centimeter. That's all. So, remember, coaches and officials, just measure the long throws to the closest inch. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, one of the reasons we really not harp on this is that when we process the meat and send it up to the internet, they'll actually check the results. And if you have like a
fraction for
a fraction in the discus, you have to redo all of those. And so we've done that way too many times.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of I think I'll start referring to it, the long throws and the short throw. Because it's during summer track, it happens too in the other long throws.
Yeah, and also for the measuring by a quarter inch, that's also for the long jump and the triple jump and high jump, and I think pole vault also. And so, we've got all these rules and stuff like that. Like in the discus, one of the rules is that you have to become stationary when you walk into the ring. And so there was a big discussion on one of the officials.
The Zoom, Zoom official meeting.
There was a girl that, a young lady, not just a girl, a young lady that was constantly moving as she got into the ring, and then proceeded to throw a record-breaking distance. And so the discussion was it a fair throw? Was it not a fair throw? Because one group of people said, hey, she wasn't stationary, she was still moving. Well, other people said, no, her feet were in the same spot. Even though it was for only a moment, that's, it doesn't say stationary for a long time, it says stationary. And so they argued back and forth and back and forth. And one of the best rules that we know for officials is, if you think it's a foul, it's not a foul. You need to know that it's a foul.
Yeah.
And so,
and that's why it's important to know your events and know the rules.
Yeah, there's bunches of rules to know. Just the weight of things and the size and the dimensions and all that kind of stuff. They used to count the number of spikes in the bottom of your shoe, because you couldn't have.
That's true. I
you
remember
couldn't have
that.
more than 6 spikes on one shoe.
Well, and we used to have training sessions regularly.
Yeah, and we know that the UTEP is starting to do some
coaching
clinics,
which I'm thrilled
for
about.
the events. And we hope that passes through. And we need to also do some, learning clinics on officiating and
for
get
each other,
everybody
yeah.
on the same page.
So regardless, there's going to be some great competition this weekend.
And we apologize if we didn't mention your name or our school. We went with just the top seeds a lot of the time.
And hopefully we'll have some surprises out there.
And so prove us wrong and get
Yeah.
out there and compete and get some points for your school. And it's not just the first person that's going to.
Hey, that 6th place point, I was always a sixth place
Yeah,
pointer.
I've seen championships won because
with that
of
one point.
That one 6th place point was enough to change the thing. And so again, this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 3:30 for field events, 4:30 for running events. We have prelims Wednesday and Thursday, finals only running on Friday at Franklin High School. If you like what we're doing, make sure you like and subscribe. If you don't like it, where is it? 2 thumbs down. Hope to see you guys out there on the track. Also, if if you have some opinions on this, don't forget to put them down.
Make a comment.
Yeah, make those comments. We appreciate that.
A nice one.
Be appropriate, please, in that. But we hope to see you guys out there on the track. Bye.